where it's estimated that more than 60% of cargo in transit today is underinsured. So let's find out more by introducing today's guests. First, Johnny McCord, founder and CEO of Loadsure, and Damith Chandrasekara, Loadsure's Chief Technology Officer. We'll drop a link to each panelist's LinkedIn profile in the chat box. Before we begin, just some quick housekeeping. We do encourage you to submit questions to the panelists during the discussion. Just please do use the Q&A tool rather than the chat box. Today's session is being streamed live on Lloyd's YouTube channel and is also being recorded. We'll drop a link to the channel in the chat box, and we encourage you to share it with colleagues and clients who you think might find the content of interest. Lloyd's YouTube channel features a complete library of all previous Tuesdays with Lloyd sessions available for on-demand viewing. And with that, Johnny, Damith, welcome to you both, and let's just jump right in. I think a good starting point might be to point out that that Loadsure was one of the I guess early graduates of the Lloyd's Lab, which is the market's in-house Insurtech accelerator. And I thought, Johnny, you might start off by telling us a little bit about your experience with the Lloyd's Lab and how it affected Loadsure's trajectory.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having us, Pat. It's great to be here. Yeah, as you said, we were part of the Lloyd's Lab. We were the fourth cohort, and we had a fantastic experience. Unfortunately, it was the first virtual lab because of the pandemic, but actually that had a number of benefits of streamlining the process, especially as myself and Damith are on different sides of the Atlantic, and that helped us enable our prototyping more efficiently, and the mentoring program, the insights that we were able to pass on to our team and each other was incredibly beneficial. We actually built the blueprint to our international transactional model, which was super informative and helpful, and is on the market today.
Yeah, we mapped that all out, and the feedback we got during that process helped that product be what it is today. It set the stage for it.
Well, it's really fantastic to see the role that the lab has played, a pivotal role in nurturing these sorts of innovative startups, many times to the point of securing market capacity and distribution channels, which you have done. And plus, as we've discussed on this program previously, the lab has quite a remarkable success rate, in excess of 90%, which only continues to grow the interest and participation in the lab. We were almost shocked to see the most recent cohort had over, I think, 160 applications. So it's really quite amazing the impact it's having. But so good. I'm glad to see that, that even though despite the limitations of COVID, you were able to get the full benefit of the lab experience. Johnny, I was thinking we might, we opened up by touching on how Loadsure is addressing the underinsurance crisis, specifically in freight and cargo. But maybe let's unpack that a little bit more, and just what is the crisis specifically, and why do we think it exists?
Yeah, absolutely. I come from the London market. I was a Lloyd's broker for over 20 years, solely focused in cargo and logistics insurance. And let's start with the freight insurance market. It's a 300-year-old institution, and it has been very slow to evolve, and it's been slow to embrace technology. And there's a number of reasons why. But actually, over the last 5 to 7 years, embracing technology has certainly changed and been seen as a catalyst for growth. But as you just mentioned, today, over 60% of cargo in transit is either under or uninsured. And primarily that's due to the traditional insurance approach, which is very cumbersome, and ultimately is very much focused in enterprise risk. And has not necessarily been able to efficiently serve the freight industry's small to medium-sized businesses, especially as the supply chain evolves and becomes more just in time. And these small businesses are moving shipments as and when required, and they make up a huge proportion of the industry. And so what we've seen that these SMBs are, really forced to purchase expensive one-dimensional annual products, which, as I said, are aimed really at the larger enterprise risk. They're expensive. They can be fairly clunky, burning cash with large upfront costs. And sometimes that's just not sustainable for the SMBs. So therefore, they're then forced to run possibly complete or partial exposure, relying on inadequate programs that are there to support carriers rather than the ultimate cargo owners, such as the carrier's liability policies. And those have a number of pitfalls. They pay penny on the dollar in the event of a claim. And if there is liability, it has to be proven. But then not forgetting that there is numerous exclusions and defenses within such program or policy. So that's just caused the just-in-time environment, the supply chain evolving, and the lack of instantly available transactional insurance has created this underinsurance crisis.
So you've identified a long-standing need, obviously. So maybe let's pivot to you, Damith, and so you've identified the need and setting about a method to address it. So how does tech, AI, and combined with industry expertise, how does that come into play in formulating a solution?
Yeah. So one thing that Johnny and what we identified early on was that the reason that those class of business was underserved was in the traditional way, you can't service it profitably. So brokerages and insurance companies, they would ignore that because they didn't have a solution how to do it. And that's where tech and AI come in, because with technology, you can automate those processes and you can build systems that take what once was a more manual, underwriting process and, took a lot of time to automate it to the point where it can be done in seconds and very profitably. So that's how we approach the problem. We identified this class of, insurance, and we built a product that now sits in front of the users. They can, or the brokers, and they can come in, they can enter their data very easily, very quickly. Okay. And the system does all the work. It does the heavy lifting of, quoting, building the documentation, all the stuff that in the past was very manual and costly. So that's where that comes in. The other part is also streamlining the technology and the user experience, and that's something that I care a lot about. Like I came from not from insurance background, so for me, it was looking at insurance from the outside, and how that's something that drew me to Loadsure, to be able to have an impact on changing how it's viewed, how the ease of use, how to be able to come in and get what you need in a simple way without all the confusion, like Johnny was saying before, about exclusions and what's covered, what's not covered, what do I need to do, what information I need to give. The barrier for technology has come down, and people's expectation of technology has also gone up, because we constantly live with our phones and everything, and we have low tolerance for bad technology now, and that's only going to go up, right? So, but insurance, like Johnny said, for many reasons has kind of lagged behind. So that's very exciting for me to push that forward, and the users will benefit.
Yeah.
So
and
it does. Go ahead, Johnny.
Sorry, Pat. Just also to add, that the impact of this underinsurance crisis and what we're solving with the instant available insurance solutions that Damith was just talking through. The impacts isn't just on the commercial market. It affects all of us. It really does. You look at the situation that we've experienced over the last 5 years, with COVID, the geopolitical situation that's around the world, the war in Ukraine, and we'll obviously unpack more of that later. But the global supply chain is under unprecedented stress, and that's affecting all of us. And I'm pretty sure that everyone on this session and this podcast will have had a conversation in the last 5 years about the supply chain and that unprecedented stress that it's under, because we haven't been able to get the goods that we want at the right time, and then the price of those goods have gone through the roof. So insurance is here to obviously support and protect, to enable that our freight community and the supply chain are able to deliver and help support the communities. And we're trying to ensure that we are more progressive in the way that we approach and distribute products. You look at the consumer insurance market and how we procure insurance through digital interfaces. We need to make sure that the commercial insurance market is enabling tools for intermediaries to serve their commercial partners and clients in a more tech and automated manner, so that we're able to address these areas of underserving. And that really brings around full circle of how we believe AI and automation can be part of this and being that market maker.
It was interesting to hear Damith's comment that you came from the outside looking in, and particularly that this industry, which I think many of us would agree, has lagged behind some others, financial sectors, that in terms of embracing that technology. So sometimes you do need that fresh set of eyes to kind of look in and evaluate it from a different perspective. I'm particularly fascinated with I'd never even heard the term AI or artificial intelligence much, but now in the last several months it seems like it's everywhere. So that is embedded in the way that this system works.
Yes.
Yes. So
sorry,
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Ultimately, AI technology, all of this stuff, you need that to build the automations, build the systems, because AI is a powerful tool for automation. Like things you're probably seeing with ChatGPT and all these systems, things that we didn't even think a computer could do or wouldn't be able to do for years to come are now a reality, right? And that's where we need to look at it from the insurance standpoint, where like before we might have thought, oh, the technology is not there yet. It's very close, if not already there. And we can build better products that service the market better with those technologies. And our system, we're integrating more and more of that technology into it to provide solutions. And we're just starting.
Yeah.
And I think also, Pat, it's the two things that really matter to us and the insurance industry is ultimately being able to price accurately, sustainably, and be able to deliver a world-class claims solution. And that's where AI and machine learning fits into our technology and our ecosystem.
It's fascinating, and it's happened so quickly. I have written here something that I thought we would expand on that I find very, very intriguing. You've written a statement that Insurtech is to serve as an enablement rather than a cost. So let's explore that a little bit. What we're saying there.
Yeah, Damith, I'll unpack this, and I'm sure you'll have some views.
Yes.
As we're a Insurtech built from the inside out. Yes, we've got expertise, such as Damith, that have come from other industries to support this, but primarily, we understand the insurance market, we understand the insurance chain, we understand in commercial insurance the value of intermediaries and being the trusted advisors of the assureds in the freight community in particular. But at the end of the day, we're here as an Insurtech to enable the white space in the business model of the MGA space. That's what the MGA model is all about, is to enable incumbents to reach areas, niche areas that they don't traditionally or aren't able to support. So technology for us is all about enabling us to distribute efficiently and effectively to meet the needs of the freight community as and when they require it. So we're very passionate about not being just another acquisition cost, but rather as a tool to support the market and be a market maker in an area that we haven't been able to efficiently serve. So as I said, we're not here to charge exuberant prices and pass that cost on to the freight community or the insurance community. We are very much about using technology to reinvent the MGA model to enable that to efficiently serve the underserved and provide a profitable and sustainable underwriting model.
Yeah,
So
and I can add to that. Like, I think it comes down to identity, right? How we view ourselves, like Johnny said. And yes, we are, Insurtech, a technology company, and we build technology, but ultimately what we sell is the coverage. It's our goal is to help the insureds, right? And it's not to like the technology is an enabler for. And I think the way I look at it, my viewpoint, that is good technology should be seamless. It shouldn't require training, and it should be intuitive, right? And if you have good technology, it almost fades into the background, and you're just there to get what you need done. We've seen that with good, like when you use your phone, what apps work well and what don't, because the ones where you're like, oh, how do I do what I'm supposed to do, versus, oh, okay, I didn't need any training, I just opened it and I got what I needed done. And that's kind of the ethos of what we want to do. We want to enable our partners, the intermediaries, with technology where that's just intuitive. They come in, they get their work done. It just fades into the background. And that's how we approach building technology.
So tech is like you said, tech
it's a vehicle,
not the product, because you've got the products with tried and true. It's just the sort of the comprehensive, lightning fast way that it finds the solution.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's just it just fascinates me. So let's look at this to both of you more broadly. What do you see as some of the key causes of the U.S. supply chain disruptions that we're seeing and just talked about, and the resulting challenges facing small business moving forward?
Yeah, where do we start on supply chain disruption? As we mentioned earlier, there's so much to unpack there. The COVID-19, was pandemic, very disruptive. We look at the challenges that created across the world, let alone North America. But we're still seeing the knock-on effects from all that. The threat of cyber criminals and organized crime is getting even more powerful and smarter and disruptive in North America, and particularly the issues with double broking, the sophistication of the organized crimes with regards to cargo theft and fictitious pickups. And then look at global warming, which is just creating more and more natural disasters. But you then have the regulations and compliance and changes around there, which are just making it ever challenging, especially for the SMBs in particular, which are the least sophisticated when it comes to risk management. And I strongly believe that a modern day insurance company should be more about protection, and that's why we refer to us as a holistic freight protection company. And it's all about supporting, being there to enable or to distribute the insurance product, that risk transfer, that piece of paper that responds in the event of a claim, to address those supply chain disruptions, and also to be evolving in the emerging risks that are constantly coming through the supply chain. But at the same time, we need to be, as a insurance community, far more progressive in how we are enabling our assureds to take better practice, better risk management. And, I think one of the ways that we certainly need to start addressing the need within the supply chain to manage risk better is through active risk management. And that's something that is very important. And it's something over time, I believe, active risk management will become more important than the piece of paper to transfer the risk. And it's ultimately using the industry data to enable us to be far more predictive and preventative, to enable those losses, to reduce those losses from occurring in the first place, and enabling the assureds to make better decisions to mitigate loss from occurring. So that helps within the ecosystem and the pricing, driving down the occurrence of loss. Nobody wants to incur loss, especially in today's world. Replacement times are at all high, and we want to prevent that. So what we're here to do is really empower our clients with data, with intelligence, to also proactively suppress those losses, whether it's through the supply chain disruptions we just talked about, or the emerging risks that are constantly evolving. And it's our duty to address those risks and minimize them. And we do that through the collection and analyzing of vast amounts of data. We as the freight community have become far better in sharing data and being more collective and results driven on that. So that is certainly helping us to provide the structure for preventing loss from occurring, the recommendations, tracking, and to give all that real-time intelligence.
I love the term holistic.
So,
It's perfect.
yeah, I mean, to John's point, with the small businesses, like they are much more agile, right? And they do lots of different things, and tied to the original stuff we're discussing about the underinsurance, right? With our platform, like they can get insured. Like we have folks who insure stuff in like under a minute. You can get coverage for a shipment in under a minute on our platform. If we have API integrations, and the data is already in the system, we issue quotes in sub-second time. Okay, and right now, like speaking to the active risk management, it's all about data. We are right now we're creating close to 1,000 certificates daily, and each of those are shipment details with all the details. And our platform allows us to scale to multiple orders of magnitude of that without any problems, right? So all of that data feeds into our backend AI systems and our data systems, and allow us to analyze it at a very granular basis from many factors that a human being could not. Like we're talking about terabytes or even petabytes of data. And then from that, to Johnny's point, we look at it, and it's not just about finding, where the claims, it's seeing the patterns. So we can now educate our customers on, here's where we are seeing the risks, because we don't just see your business, we see it across everybody, right? And in the past, this was something that only large businesses would be able to either afford it or have the data to do it. But our goal is to be able to provide that kind of insights and everything to our customers, the small businesses, and give them almost like a level playing field and help them through that.
I will also just add, obviously this is a tool, to empower our insurance broker partners to help them better serve the freight community by maximizing those profits and minimizing losses for all. So that intelligence is being passed down through into the hands of the intermediaries, down into the freight community through that. So it's very much a tool that is there to serve the insurance chain.
Well, it's a fascinating and compelling story. I look forward to seeing what the next chapter brings. But we do have, I thought we have a couple minutes. We might take a couple questions. A few of them have popped up here. I'll just read one and you can just kind of grab at it. Let's see. Hello, I've recently started a new company, have just entered the product development stage, and I have applied to be in cohort 12 of the Lloyd's Lab. So it's great to hear about your time with the lab. What was your biggest and or most satisfying to overcome challenge in the first year of business?
The biggest and most satisfying was getting Lloyd's cover holder status in probably one of the toughest markets in history, certainly in my time, and that was thanks to the support of the Lloyd's Lab and a robust business model. But yeah, the mentorship, the Lloyd's as a corporation, all very supportive in the data-driven and tech-enabled solution that we were bringing to market. So, I still smile about it today. Getting Lloyd's cover holder status is a big win. It's a fantastic brand. It's a fantastic insurance market, and yeah, honored to be part of that. So yeah, it's that was my biggest reward, I would say, from the Lloyd's Lab.
Excellent testimony on Lloyd's there. I like that. One other question, let's how do the Lloyd's market participants react to what you're doing, and do they understand the benefits that you're producing for them?
Yes, they've been very receptive. Obviously we're addressing an area that's been underserved and hasn't been efficiently able to be served. So our technology and our data-driven approach has enabled us to be that market maker in that space. We're not here to compete with complex risk. We're not here to compete with the London market. Very much here to utilize the London market capacity to enable a profitable and sustainable business model in this SMB sector of the freight industry. So our capacity and the London market seem are very supportive. And this is a journey. It's not switching on a light switch and we're off to the races. So having the right support and the right mindset of our capacity in the London market, but even on the intermediary side, it's very much capacity, bringing results in an area they haven't necessarily focused on, and actually our intermediaries have another tool in their tool belt to help serve an area that they haven't necessarily focused on as well. So in my eyes, it's a win-win.
Yeah,
it sounds like it. Absolutely. Damith, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think what's interesting to us is it's been a great journey, and also like there's so much learnings along the way from us and our intermediaries, because we're building these tools and sometimes it doesn't exactly land the way we expect it to, and then it's been great like getting their feedback and then adjusting our approach. And even our technology, what we built initially, very first version, we've moved into a different way of distributing it, and that's all with the support of our intermediaries and our partners. And that journey has been very rewarding as well, because it makes us reevaluate our own decisions and grow and improve and build a better product for the industry. So that's been great. I've enjoyed that a lot, like especially when you are asked to reevaluate your own ideas. Sure. And change course. That's always fun.
Well, a fascinating and excellent story all the way around, and it looks like we're on the half hour, so I think that brings us to a good spot to wrap up for today. So Johnny, Damith, let me thank you once again for sharing your time and expertise with us. It's certainly appreciated, and our best wishes for the continued growth and success of Loadsure.
Thank you.
And that will do it for us today for this 2024 premiere edition of Tuesdays with Lloyd's. We hope you found it informative and engaging. You definitely won't want to miss next month's special edition of Tuesdays with Lloyd's on March 12th, when we will hear Lloyd's Chief of Markets, Patrick Tiernan, discuss how he is working to operationalize the strategic advantages of Lloyd's to unlock new demand and opportunity for the market. Patrick will be joining us live from Bermuda. So to accommodate logistics, please note that our program will air 1 hour later than usual at noon Eastern instead of 11. It's sure to be a fascinating, wide-ranging discussion, so we do hope you'll join us. As we close our session today, you'll receive a brief set of survey questions in your browser, and we ask that you please take a moment to fill these out and be very candid in your comments. We heavily rely on your feedback to build our content, so your support is most appreciated. You can also drop us a note anytime at usevents@lloyds.com. So until March 12th, let's keep staying connected. Take care and have a great rest of your day.